Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to continue the discussion about co-parenting with, that narcissist or toxic person. And in this part 2 video, is going to be more geared towards the men who have fathered a child with that female narcissist or, that toxic woman. Okay, because in my part 1, it was more geared towards the women who had fathered the male with the male narcissist or toxic person. Okay, so I'm not going to say that you females can't get anything out of this. I'm sure you can still, but it's going to be more geared towards the men. Okay, and God bless you guys out there. These toxic women, they can be very, very vicious, very, very relentless, okay? And the same as the men. The men can be as well, but, women in different aspects in a certain sense, okay? All right, and I'm not going to use this to kind of state the obvious, like, oh, you got to watch who you're sleeping with and who you're connecting yourself with, because, right now you're just in that situation and you need to be thinking about what you can do now, okay? Of course, moving forward with anyone new, but you already have the child, okay? The child is here, that is the mother, and you're in this situation now. And a lot of times, just as I stated in my part 1 video, how you came to get to that place before the child was even brought into the picture. Of course, you had a relationship with this woman, and chances are, just as I stated in my part 1 video, that failed miserably. And there was a lot of drama, a lot of toxicness, and now there's a child involved, in this case is with the guys. These female narcissists, they target men, they will look for a man that is mild-mannered. I'm sorry. I hear one of my twins in the background. They will look for a man that is mild-mannered and that has lots to offer. Like, let's say that you do have a good job. You do have your finances in order. You're not the guy out here with 5 baby mothers, so to speak, quote unquote, that's what people call it, but basically fathering children with multiple women. You're not that guy. Maybe you don't even have children. This is the first child that you had, ended up being with a disaster as far as this woman ended up not being who you thought she was. And now you have decades. Number one, you're forever tied in your family tree. And now you have this child to raise and take care of. And some of you had tried to do things, quote unquote, the right way based off of society. You was like, okay, if she was trapping you, perhaps she got pregnant before you married her and you decided, okay, well, yes, let's make this family official, quote unquote, let's get married, and you married her. And, that didn't solve any of your issues, and, you're just trying to do the right things, and it's just getting you deeper into this hole. And maybe she done had 2 or 3 more children, and now she's divorcing you. And she wants everything, of course. She wants to take everything up from under you. And, she wants every penny that you make. She wants all the houses, all of the assets. She wants it all. She's trying to clear you out. And you're trying to, take care of your kids and not end up being a hobo out on the street. And this woman seems to never be satisfied, and she just wants more and more and more. And you're in and out of court because she's constantly seeking an increase in child support. You're trying to perhaps even get a visitation set up because she uses the child as a tool. When you can see him, when you can't, she wants to be in direct contact with that, or in the middle of it, in between of it. And even if the children are old enough to where perhaps they're even teenagers and you could communicate directly with them, she wants to be all in it, in the mix. And you know, she's trying to block them if you aren't doing everything that she wants you to be doing. And even if you are, and perhaps she's not even working with the court ordered visitation that's set up, and she's giving you an uphill battle with that. And then maybe she's called the cops on you many times, and you're just apprehensive about even being alone with this woman without any witnesses around, because she could say anything at that point because she's done it in the past. I mean, you guys are facing a lot of situations, or going to child support court and telling blatant lies. Oh, he's never provided anything, because you did a lot of things off the record. And, you know, you're telling them, hey, no, I provided this. I have receipts of this and that. Like, you guys are facing a lot of situations out here. And I've talked to enough men to know that it becomes very draining emotionally after a while, and men aren't even generally the emotional kind. So to be constantly going through all of this stress and drama, a lot of men decide to just totally withdraw from the situation, because it becomes such an uphill battle that in the system is typically stacked against men and for the mother. So, you know, a lot of times men just feel hopeless when it comes to this, especially when they're dealing with this relentless narcissistic woman, or, you know, toxic female. And they just walk away from the whole situation. And of course, the children are the ones that are going to suffer in those cases, because now they're growing up fatherless, because their mother has made the environment so unwelcoming and so toxic, and even dangerous for the man to even try to want to partake, you know. And I've talked to many men who just have given up on it. And they're like, you know what, Lakia, I've tried this and I've tried that. And at this point, I will just talk to my children when they're grown, because, you know, I can't, I don't want to go to jail over this. She's, you know, it's too much drama going on here. And I don't know what else to do. You know, I don't know what else to do. So I wanted to make this video to you guys out there that are just experiencing much. You know, I want to encourage you. I want to try to encourage you not to give up, and not to just completely walk away from that situation. Yes, it is actually, it's a pain in the neck a lot of times, but it is best to go through the court systems with a woman like this, to have everything spelled out and written out, because then there's nothing to talk about. You know, a lot of you, hey, I don't want to get put on child support. I don't want to do this. You know, I don't want to go through this process. I'm not a bad man. And then you see some of these other men out here who are just completely deadbeats, and they're just not on child support. Not, you know, they don't even have, they don't have a fraction of what you're going through, just trying to do the right thing. But it's just because of the type of woman that you dealt with. You know, that is just all has to do with the type of woman that you dealt with. And as much as it's a pain in the neck, like I said, going through the courts, unfortunately, that is going to be your best bet with this type of woman, because imagine not having any type of structure in place, any type of limit in place, because this person has no boundaries or limits. They're just going to be taking and taking and taking. And I know all of you are like, look, you know, I can't even, by the time they're taking my child support, I can't get myself a good lawyer. Some of you, or maybe you can, maybe you're well-to-do and you can, but you're just emotionally drained from the situation and you want nothing to do with it. You know, but I want you to separate all of the drama in the hoops that she's making you jump through. I need you to detach that from the child itself, because that's what happens eventually. The man sees, okay, I'm trying to see my child, and you're attaching everything she's doing to make it difficult to see that child with the child. That's not the child's doing, and it's not the child itself. This is what she's doing, you know, but That's what happened. Men, they see, okay, this is just too much drama. I'm trying to see my kids. I got to go through this, that, do. I don't want any of this. But you do. You want your child. You just don't want all that messiness that comes along with this woman. But I want you to work as far as your perception, because our perceptions become reality. I want you to stop looking at the things that she's doing to get in your way and to make it difficult and challenging for you. I want you to separate that in itself from your child. Okay? And yes, I do want to recommend that you do go through the court system. Is to have everything spelled out, even if she's going against things. If you're a decent guy, you could get, that 50-50 custody, and do everything that you can to support this. If you can both live in the same school district as the child, and the child could stay with you for half the year, and, find ways to put things in a way where it could be to your benefit, where she wouldn't be able to say, well, no, she can't, the kids can't stay with him. It's in a different school district. It's going to disrupt their education, or, because these are the things that the judge is going to look at. These are things that the judge is going to look at. So whatever you can do to help yourself in front of the judge when you go in to say, hey, I want to have custody, or I want to, share custody. If you do know that this mother is very negligent, you can, build a case for that. You really have to prove it, though, because the courts, they generally don't like to take children from the mother. But if you have legit, reasons, if you have proof, and it's not just going to be your word against hers. I mean, there are things that you can do, but yes, in this situation, when you are the man, it is going to be to your benefit when you're dealing with a toxic woman like this to go through things legally. Okay? Go through things legally. I mean, it's a rough situation. It really is. But yes, you're going to have to go through things legally with a woman like this. You can't trust anything that she says, and she'll say one thing and do another. If you don't have that custody in place, oh yeah, you can see him this Saturday. Say, oh no, we're going to be doing this now. It's nothing that you could say legally, because there's nothing legal attached to it. You're going to have to do things that way with her and stick to it. And if she's breaking those clauses, you're going to have to go back to work. I mean, not back to work, but back to court about that. And keep fighting for your kids. I know a lot of you are like, look, I'm tired. I've gone through enough. I don't want to keep doing this. Look, I'm tired. I have no more energy. I keep taking off of work behind this. It's disrupting my life. I want to encourage you to still stay in there. If you have a lawyer, the lawyer can go to the court without you. I mean, they'll tell you when it's going to be to your advantage to be present there, or when they can go in and take care of that business for you. But never give up on your kids. Never give up on your kids. And you can always show them the motions that you were filing. Look, I was trying really hard, if they ever had questions one day. Something else that I find helpful in these type of situations is to have like some type of mediator or middle person, to where, if things have gotten that messy between you and her, have a handoff. Like, okay, let's say you were picking up the children and the middle person was her mother or your mother, or one of you guys is mutual friends, and she's called you. Okay, well, I'll drop them off there, and then you pick them up there. You're not even coming into contact with her because you have a middle person that can, be that witness. And I can keep it clean. By the time you go pick up the kids, she's already gone. And the same thing with the drop off. And you're not even seeing her. And she's not seeing you. So you guys aren't, alone in private. You don't have to worry about, any of the dramas, especially if there was any type of domestic abuse issues to where, you were arrested for that or she accused you of this. You want to tread lightly with that and not give her any opportunities to be able to accuse you again. But I know that it's rough. I know that it's very rough when you're trying to just take care of your children. And then there are situations, you go out and buy all this stuff for the kids, and then every time you come get them, they don't have this, they don't have that, or she's taking the child support money and she's not actually spending it on the kids or getting things that they need, but she's all, squared away. Unfortunately, the way that our child support system is set up, they're not particularly monitoring what the woman is doing with the money. I mean, the money can, in their eyes, it's supposed to be used for anything to take care of the child, including paying her rent or mortgage, gas, electric, water, the child's transportation. Those things actually do count, so I want you to change your mind with that as well. A lot of guys have an issue with the women taking the money and paying it for that. But the child does need shelter. The child does need water, gas and electric, transportation. So I don't know if she makes significantly less than you or if she's not working at all. And it gets really layered and intricate as far as the money aspect of it. I don't know, were you married to her and she wasn't working, and then once you found out she was a narcissist, you stopped with her, but she's still not working? Then you had to pay her alimony and child support? And then sometimes you could feel bitterness and upset that you had to pay so much, or that you're, making these payments and maybe they're making your budget feel tight. But I don't want you to take that out on the children as well. Especially when she's taking you in and out of court to get more money from you, when you already feel like, oh, I'm giving everything that I can pay as it is. So, a lot of times you do that. And if you haven't healed from your emotional, the baggage or scars that you have from your relationship with her, it's possible that you might detach from everything that's going on over there, which is including your child, because you haven't healed. I don't want to be anywhere near that woman. I don't want to think about this situation anymore. And you just detach, you freeze and you fall off, you detach from the situation. And, that hurts your children. That hurts your children. Just like I told the women, it's hard. It's hard when someone has put you through much to then turn around and have to deal with them, for decades and years to come. That's rough. That's rough. But your relationship with her is certainly separate from your relationship with your child. I definitely want to encourage you to hang in there. To hang in there for your child's sake. You owe it to your child. Once you guys brought a child into the world, and you might say, hey, Lakia, I wasn't trying to create a child with her. I told her I didn't want that child. Or, you might be thinking something that you were trapped into being a father. But this is a life lesson, that you will have to take with you moving forward. Every time that you lay down with a woman, you could be taking that risk. That's why we have to be very, very, very careful. And you might even say, hey, well, when I even laid down with her, I didn't want a child, but I still didn't think she was that kind of woman, and that, this would happen or that would happen. But this is all this healing that you still need to have within yourself so that you can keep fighting, basically, and doing what's right for your child. Because there's way too many fathers that just check out of a situation when it becomes too difficult and too challenging, an uphill battle. The woman is making it very difficult, and you throw in the towel, and it's like, look, it's just easier. It's just easier, Lakia, for me to just let this situation go. I mean, feels like she's holding all the cards. Things are going into her advantage. And I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting. Maybe I'll see the child when they're grown. But that's giving up on your child. And especially if she's a narcissistic or a toxic person, your child is going to need some stability into their life. They need someone that can balance that out for them. Okay? And if you remove yourself, then they're just going to be left with the experiences that narcissistic mom can provide. And what type of experiences will those look like? And how will that hurt the child on top of being fatherless? Okay? And especially, male or female. But if you have a little girl, and she could be hopping from man to man, and she doesn't see what a real man is. She doesn't know what the love of a father is or a man, because you weren't there to be that initial example. Okay? And then that leaves her susceptible to, the narcissistic woman. She could be choosing poor partners that could be abusing your daughter. You need to be around to make sure that everything is okay. You have to be that stability. Okay? And I'm talking about a lot of the negative sides, but there have been success stories. I know guys that actually have full custody of their children. That in itself is a whole nother animal, but they've gotten it because the narcissistic woman or the toxic woman, she just wasn't capable. She wasn't capable mentally to provide that safe environment, to be consistent, where there's drug abuse, where there's alcohol abuse. And just, reckless irresponsibility. So you don't want to leave that to chance. If you know that you had a child with a narcissistic female or, this really toxic person, you do not want them to be the only impression on your child. Okay? You don't want that. So I wanted to create this part 2 video to, let you fathers out here be encouraged. Be encouraged. And then sometimes she could get with another man and remarry, and it's like, oh, we don't need you anymore. The stepfather is the father. You're nothing. You're old news. And then, she might really try to turn it up on you. Okay? Might try to ask you to sign your rights over. And I know guys that have felt desperate and just have done it, not because they didn't love or care about their children, but just because it's like, okay, well, I feel helpless in the situation. She's not letting me see them anyway. And you just throw in a towel. Just throw in a towel. But your children, they're relying on you. And you have to stay strong for them, just like the females, just like, the women who've had children with the men. We have to stay strong, but it's rough, because in your typical situation, that female narcissist probably has the child in her custody, In the legal system, it could be a drawn-out situation that takes some time for it to finally get where you need it to be. But it will be worth it in the end. And your children are worth that effort. This is your legacy. This is your blood. This is the next generation. And they deserve that, guys. Feel free to leave me questions underneath this video that you may have for those of you co-parenting or attempting to co-parent with this female narcissist or toxic person. Just things that I could talk about in the next video that I put up about this, you know, because I do want to get to the bottom of it and, you know, give you guys all the information that I can. I think, you know, I'll do a live chat at the end of this week, and maybe, you know, the topic can be of this week can be talking about the co-parenting. Okay. So maybe we'll do a live chat on Friday evening, just as we did last Friday, but this time we can make the theme co-parenting, perhaps. It's just something that I'm pondering at this point. But, you know, I feel your pain. I can imagine it is exhausting. And I've heard all types of situations where women just popped out years later. Oh, yeah, you have a child. The child is like 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old, and you didn't even know. And you missed all that, you know, those beginning phases. And now you're hearing about this child that she never even told you about. I've heard all types of situations. Then now you're going, she's sending for you to court to get a paternity test and to slap you on child support. And it's like, wow, like I never even knew, you know, she didn't even give you a chance to just do the right thing, just straight to the courts, just straight to the courts. But, you know, that can actually be to your advantage. You're like, Lakia, how is being on child support for 18 years or 15 years to my advantage? Well, if you were going to have to support the child anyway, instead of going through this difficult person that can change things on a whim, it's just all, you know, it's all in order and it's all set up. It's all set up. All right, guys. So if this video resonates with you, you can go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. I do upload videos quite frequently if you want coaching sessions, because a lot of men, they come to me for coaching because number one, they're not chatterboxes. Most men aren't chatterboxes. And number two, they don't really know people that understand these female narcissists in those situations. So they just want to talk to somebody who just at least understands, so they could even vent to someone that's not looking at them like crazy or giving them the side eye. You know, somebody that understands these things. A lot of people come to me just for that even. But if you need someone to talk to, because you feel like no one's going to understand you, or you don't want to talk to your guy friends and close confidence or whatever, confidants about that, I'm here for you guys. I do phone sessions, I do the Skype, and I do email as well. Okay, you just email CoachLakia@gmail.com and we can set that up. You can go to my site, LakiaCrawford.com, and take a look at the services that I provide. Once you know what you want, just PayPal me the money, email me, and we can set up your appointments, okay? All right, guys, hang in there for your children. I'm never going to tell you to give up on them. I'm never going to tell you to give up on them. Okay, there's more than one way to do things. There's more than one way to go about things. And that's what you have to become craftier about. Okay? All right, guys, until next time.